Com. So, 2019 marks 20 years of Killswitch Engage. Can you believe it?
No, it's kind of crazy, man. I didn't know it was going to be more than 10 years, never mind 20. It's crazy.
What do you consider your best period with the band?
Right now, currently. I think, if I could be so bold to say so, I think this record really, in my opinion, marks a really diverse feel and some of the most poignant lyrics that I've written. So I would say right now, the phase we are entering into, hopefully, is the most relevant one. But that's to be seen. That's just my opinion.
I love it. I got the chance to hear the album and I really loved it. It's the best album I heard from Killswitch for a long time. How long do you see the band doing this in the future?
How long do we think we'll be doing this? Is that what you just asked?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Depends how long we stay alive. I don't know. I mean, I could see us doing this for another at least 5 to 10 years, maybe more. It depends on our health and, you know, the will of the gods, as it were. But I'm thankful for every day we have.
Okay. Why did you choose Atonement for the album name? Has it some Christian connotation?
No, I mean, it does come from that, but I wanted to flip it on its head. I like the idea of sort of redefining the word for myself.
Yeah.
To me, it means much more about self-redemption, about coming to terms with who you are and holding yourself accountable. And at the same time, I think it has a lot to do with holding someone else accountable for their actions. It's a dual meaning for me, and it does have a Christian connotation because that's where it comes from, but to me, I have no ties to any organized religion anymore, and I like the idea of redefining the word to mean something completely different for myself. That, and I like that it's ambiguous enough and strong enough to stand on its own for an album title. I think it's very fitting.
Yeah. You know, all the Killswitch fan base is waiting for the Signal Fire with you and Howard singing together. Can you tell us how you met?
Yeah, Howard came out. I mean, I've known Howard as an acquaintance since I was about 17, 18 years old. He was in a band called Driven, and I was singing for a band called Corinne at the time. So we had mutual respect, we had mutual friends, but never really knew each other, more just like acquaintances. And Howard came out to a Killswitch show about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, just to say hi to the guys and to catch up and just sort of be in the same room. And I got to witness it. It was great. It was a lot of laughter, a lot of memories, a lot of catching up. And after that, Howard and I spoke one-on-one. And after about 10, 15 minutes of talking to him, I realized that we had a lot in common. And we kind of hit it off very quickly. And throughout that night, up until the bus left the venue, him and I had some really good conversations, exchanged phone numbers, and just became very fast friends.
Cool. And what is your favorite lyric written by Howard? And how do you feel to sing it?
I would say the entirety of Arms of Sorrow, that song Arms of Sorrow. I think every lyric in that song is brilliant. And I think I can relate to that song so much. That was the first song by Howard that I felt really captured the way I felt about things. It really put words to how depression feels, especially when you're out on the road and with crowds and being under the spotlight. It just, to me, it's such a brilliant song about being mentally ill out on the road. So I would say Arms of Sorrow, every single word in that song is just powerful to me. I love that song. And when I sing it, it just feels incredible because I feel like it's continuing to spread that message. And I know anyone can relate to being sad or to being downtrodden. So I would say Arms of Sorrow is definitely the one for me.
Did you ever talk about that with him?
Yes, yeah, I did talk to him about how much I love that song. Yep.
And do you know what would be his answer if I ask him the same question?
Oh, I have no idea. No.
Okay. How did you came to have the legendary Chuck Billy in The Crownless King?
Man, that was just sheer luck. We wrote the song. We loved it. We thought it sounded heavy as hell. It reminded me of Testament. And Joel, a guitar player, just said, "Hey, why don't we just at least ask if Chuck will do it?" And we got lucky, man. He laid down the vocals in a few days and sent it back to us, and we were all blown away and totally honored.
Are you into Testament? Are you a fan?
Oh yeah, dude! I've been listening to Testament since I was a teenager. I think they're one of the best metal bands out there. Period. They should be part of the Big Four, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay. Who would you take out from the Big Four to have Testament in?
What's that?
Okay.
Oh no! Don't do that to me. Don't paint me. No, not answering that question.
Okay. I got one.
The Big Five, then. How about that?
Okay. I got struck in my mind the song "Us Against the World." What's the song about, and do you see it as a potential single?
I love that song. Yeah, I wish it would be a single. I don't know if it's in the cards for that song, but Us Against the World is got multiple meanings. Believe it or not, I initially wrote it about warfare, about being in a situation where your life is on the line and you have your brothers and sisters, your battle partners with you, and you're going to get it through it no matter what. But it can definitely be about relationships or family or love. Just that feeling of like you're at the end of your rope, you're in a situation that seems hopeless, and you find that hope in each other. And I think to me that's just something that everyone can relate to. You got somebody who's got your back, and you feel like you can face anything, and that's a beautiful feeling.
I know there are songs you love that didn't make it on the album. How did you choose what to cut out? And will this song see the light of day?
Yeah, the way we do it is everybody casts their vote, and the more popular votes win. It's very much a democratic process.
Uh-huh.
I think there might have been one song that Metal Blade was really into, and Brian Slagle, who's a legend in his own right in the metal community, really fought for one song in particular. But other than that, it was all chosen by us. And then there's a good, I want to say 6 or 7 songs maybe that didn't make it that we hope eventually we will put out on some sort of a special release in the next coming year or so. But that's to be seen.
They are all completed and recorded?
Yeah, they're all ready to go. Yeah, I think they're great songs as well.
Kind of painful, I think. In a
little bit, yeah, but you want to put the best record possible, and I think we did do that. I think we chose the songs that best fit together and kind of all really work the best. So it is what it is at this point, and I'm happy with the way that it came out.
When did you completed the recordings? When did you give the master to Metal Blade?
That was maybe like 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
Whoa.
Maybe not even that long. It was fairly recently, but it's hard to remember. There's been so much going on since then, man.
Okay. I know you write poetry almost every day, and you draw inspiration from your own poetry works.
Yeah. Some of these songs do come from poems that I've written. Crownless King, for example, with Chuck Billy, that was a line that I wrote in a song when I was talking about the current affairs here in the country, and it was something that I just thought was powerful enough to expand upon and make its own song, and make it bigger than what I was writing about in the poem. But the Crownless King just felt perfect, and that's definitely from one of my random poems that I tend to write almost daily. I'll take breaks, but I'm pretty constant with my writing. It's something I really enjoy to do, especially when I first wake up in the morning. My brain seems to be in that mode where poetry just comes to me very freely.
Cool. I see on your Instagram that you define yourself mental health advocate. And what does it mean to be a mental health advocate to you?
I think for me, it's just a matter of being willing to speak about it, being to speak on my own experiences, being able to listen to other people's and their experiences, to offer words of encouragement, to let people know that they're not alone if they are suffering with a mental illness. I think something so simple as being there for someone and speaking your truth to other people and allowing them to speak theirs, that is super important when it comes to mental health. So I would say, if anything, it's simply that now. It may turn into something more as I plan on working with a few organizations moving forward, especially with the song I Am Broken Too. To me, that's more of like an anthem and something that I'm trying to champion and keep in the forefront of people's minds. Because I think it's important. It could potentially save lives. I know music and discussing my mental health and asking for help has definitely saved mine.
Did you talk about mental illness with the other band members also?
Well, they're fairly aware of my struggles, and I'm fairly vocal about it. And I'm having a hard time. Either they can tell by the way that I am with my body language or the way I speak, but oftentimes it just comes down to me saying something to people to let them know that I'm not doing okay. So nobody is concerned or worried for me. And honestly, just for me, it's healthy for me to just say it. So I have a fairly open relationship with those guys that when they know that I'm going through something, or if I'm having a hard time, I'm pretty open about it. They're my family. They're my brothers. They have to know what's going on. We all live together in such close quarters on that bus. So it's important to keep that communication open.
Was it hard for any of them to deal with it, considering Howard also struggled with anxiety and depression?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but I think, again, we're like a family, so it's a matter of you just kind of have to deal with each other. You have to deal with each other's problems and idiosyncrasies and whatever the case may be. I mean, that's how you keep a band together for as long as we have. Just being open and honest and allowing yourself to have arguments and heated discussions and fights. It's just part of the deal, man.
How's your voice right now after surgery?
Better than ever, man. The surgery turned out to be a total blessing in disguise. I have a lot more control. I'm able to hit notes clear. My screaming is more round. My speaking voice is clearer. Besides the surgery, just the training that I went through from speech to singing to screaming therapy were a huge help for me, and it's been incredible.
Do you have to change the way you sing?
Yeah, there's definitely techniques that I've applied that, my voice doesn't sound that much different except for maybe a little rounder and more full.
Exactly.
Because it's placed in a different position. But same with my speaking voice. Everything has sort of changed slightly, but I still have my personality in my voice. I'm doing things properly now.
Does that problem hit you emotionally at the time? I think, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And the voice, especially if you think about like how deeply emotion affects the voice. And I realized like some of my performances were compromised because the emotion took front and center stage over the technique. And now that I'm learning the new technique and applying the new technique, it goes hand in hand with the emotion. The emotion doesn't have to not be there. It just has to take a back seat to technique sometimes. And I think for me, as an emotional singer, as an emotional person, it's important for that emotion to be conveyed. But you got to do it in such a way where you're not harming yourself, and that's where technique comes in. So it's been a really interesting process since the surgery, and I think it's made me a better performer because I'm focusing less on how I'm singing, and I'm focusing more on how my interaction is with the audience in the live show.
Cool. Are you still training and studying?
Yeah, I do the same warm-ups and the same techniques almost every day, even when I'm not touring. But yeah, it's an ever-evolving thing. Checking in with Melissa Cross, my vocal teacher, and just keeping my eye on where the science of the voice is going, especially with the screaming and the yelling. It's been interesting to see how that's evolved over the years, because back when I first started doing it, there was no such thing as instruction. There was no such thing as preservation of the voice. It was just screaming your guts out, and and that's kind of how my mentality was up until I got the surgery, where I had that wake up call of like, I can't keep doing it this way anymore. I'm not sustaining myself. I was getting blood when I got off stage. I was losing my voice. It was terrible.
Okay, you worked again with Adam as a producer. Why did you choose to keep working with him?
He just knows what we like. He knows our sound. He knows our limitations. He knows us as people. He's just the right guy for the job, even though I feel like this record might have burnt him out a little bit. He worked really hard on it, more than any of us, just spent so much time on it. But he's the guy. I can't really give you a straight, definite answer. It's just, there's a synergy there. There's an understanding there that he has, that he knows what we need and what we like. And he's just the guy that calls the shots at the end of the day. He's great at what he does.
No brainer.
What's that?
No brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And what you got for the future, immediate future?
I leave for tour in a couple days, and then we have a European tour lined up. And then after that, I don't know. We're trying to be very careful with how much we tour after, kind of burning ourselves out the past 6 or 7 years. So definitely touring, but hopefully a little bit less than our last album cycle. And then, just seeing how this album hits the world. We'll see. Hopefully people dig it and it takes us around the world again.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, ciao.
Ciao.